Sorry, but I'm going to have to use my elbow as a tripod here.
No,
So,
go for it.
ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jared Bostrom.
Yeah. Okay, so I did my senior paper on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which is a story about a girl named Alice who goes to Wonderland and she's tormented and challenged by all these strange creatures that inhabit Wonderland. And I compared that to Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare, where a boy named Stephen has a nightmare and he experiences very similar tormenting like Alice did. So we have Alice and we have Stephen, but what's the difference? So when Alice gets out of Wonderland, she finds herself, she just wakes up in a grassy field and goes on with her life. And Stephen wakes up to find out that he had murdered his wife while he was sleeping. So how to survive the nightmare without murdering your wife. I don't like, it turned red. I don't like how Alice or Stephen ended up.
Hang on, here.
I think that this coming out really graceful is too easy. If you read the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass, Alice doesn't even remember that she was there in the first place. And Stephen, there's a lot of mess to clean up when you find out that you murdered your wife. Not only the blood, but also you got to hide the evidence and possibly a lawsuit. So it's just too much to handle, all right? So let's go through how to survive a nightmare and still get something out of it. So let's go through my nightmare. Dun, dun, dun. So when I got to Timberline, I was scared. I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know where my friends were at, so I panicked. And so I'm all alone here in my nightmare. I am looking at a whole bunch of stuff that I don't like and the very few stuff that I do like. So I got to figure out how to make it work for me. So step one, strip down. You got to strip yourself down, almost nude. And you got to find what really makes you you. So I stripped myself down and I found music and theater, not only the performing aspect, but like listening and watching. And then family and religion. I got a good family, I got a good church, I'm a very active member there. And so at the end of the day, if I strip myself down, I know that I'm still these four things. So I can hold on to that. Step two, realization. Everything your mom told you when you were a little kid is absolutely true. You can become the president of the United States. People are only mean to you because they're insecure with something within themselves. And you're totally limitless in this world, which is true unless, of course, you're a pessimist, in which case, screw the pessimist. Stop with the white people problems is what that boils down to. Louis C.K. says, white people problems. That's where your life is amazing, so you just make up to complain about. So stop complaining about your iPhone or your nice shoes or how your cereal is less sugary than it was yesterday, and just give it up, because nightmares will attack your white people problems and rip them open until your wife's dead. So step three, make it tick. You got to find out a way to make your nightmare tick. If you get it, and to make it tick, you got to get a reaction out of it. If you get a good reaction or a bad reaction, you know you're winning. So how I found out I made my nightmare tick was through wearing red lipstick and crazy pants. And ultimately, this boils down to just be yourself. Nightmares hate that. True story about the red lipstick. Okay, so on Valentine's Day, I put some lipstick on and was handing out kisses like you should. And I was walking down the hallway, and this stupid sophomore walks out of the locker room. I'm not saying that sophomores are stupid. I don't know if you have any sophomore friends. I'm just saying that this guy was a sophomore, and he just happened to be stupid. So he was walking down the hallway, and I was walking behind him, and he looks behind him, and then he looks behind him again. He goes, "Are you wearing lipstick?" That's how he talked. And there's a phrase in this conversation that really sticks out to me. Sorry I asked. Sorry I asked is a phrase that I would use if I had asked someone a simple question like, "Hey, how's your day?" And then they just overload me with every white person problem they have. And then in which case I would say, "Sorry I asked." So he asked me, "Are you wearing lipstick?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, sorry I asked." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry to have overloaded you so much." And without missing a beat, he goes, "Dude, I'm not gay." I didn't even have a response for it. He only laughed, and it was because I just thought that I had figured out my nightmare, but then this guy throws some homophobic curveball at me, and I was standing there not knowing what to do. I'm not gay, he wasn't gay, no one cares, all right? Step 4, don't be wrong. Stephen Colbert said, keep with your facts, I'm going with the truth. No, and no matter what argument you're in, if you just believe that you're right, then you'll probably end up being right in some way. So then the whole point of that is if you're wrong, then the nightmare will have that on you. They'll know that you're stupid or something like that. So be right at all expenses. When you're in an argument, it's balls out. So just go for it and you'll end up being right. Step 5, give it all you got. That kind of ties into don't be wrong. But when I wrote my senior paper, I gave it all I got. And so I started at 1 page a day, which was a fairly nice pace. I liked that pace. The only problem was I started that 2 days before the paper was due. So the last night, I knew that I was going to have to stay up all night. So I made myself 1 pot of coffee and chugged the whole thing. Chugged the whole thing immediately. I didn't even wait. I didn't pour myself a cup, sip at it, wait for the caffeine to set in. No, I just chugged the whole hot pot of coffee. In the meantime of getting all my stuff set up, I made myself another pot of coffee. And I was getting my laptop and my paper set up, and then as soon as that pot was done, I checked that one too, thinking I would need all that caffeine. I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I didn't even get halfway done. But I just mentioned my second work and turned it in, and then I passed out on the couch at 3 in the morning. About 4 hours later or so, I woke up, and all that coffee that I had chugged the night before did not agree with me at all. And I threw up for about an hour. I was laughing hysterically at how much I was throwing up. And my mom came into the bathroom and thought the senior paper had finally broke me and that I was going to have to go to the hospital or something. But I was laughing because of how much energy I had put into that and how it ended up. So if you give it all you got, then your worst can't really be that bad, okay? So step 6, stay inspired. That's the only way you can make it through a nightmare. That's the only way you can stay optimistic enough to believe that you're going to make it through the next day, you're going to make it through high school, you're going to move on with your life. So to stay inspired, you got to do whatever it is you want to do. So what I do is like watch an inspiring movie, listen to an inspiring album, read some inspiring poetry, or go for a walk, etc. I know some people have other ways of getting inspired. Max?
What? How do I get inspired?
Yeah, how do you get inspired?
Listen to good music, hang out with friends, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's good. And so if you follow these 6 steps, then you can micromanage and macromanage your way out of any nightmare, and you'll come out strong, and you won't kill your wife, and you'll be able to remember it for your sequel. So, that's it.